A very good morning indeed, and welcome once again here at Mvezo. You found us now with the delegation of the President, President Jacob Zuma, inside one of the classes. It is indeed the computer class, which is a feature of this school. They are now walking around, really appreciating the kind of technology that has been fitted to the school, which is really going to assist young people from these villages here. And it's something that is not very familiar with the schools around these villages. As you know, the rural landscape of the Eastern Cape province, very many schools do not have such facilities. But this school is very lucky indeed to be one of those few that will now boast of such a very, very beautiful and impressive technology that is going to really link young people with the digital world and really close the digital divide that continues to frustrate many young people in the Eastern Cape. As you can see, the President is really being shown as to how this equipment works and in the manner in which it's going to benefit young people. And as they are inside that classroom there, and as they move from there, obviously they will then move, probably look at the school and some other classes around. I do know that there's also a library here in the school, which is a facility that once again is not something that you normally see in many schools around the Eastern Cape, but this school will now begin to boast of such facility, and then from there they will move to the Makgatho, where the formal proceedings will indeed begin, where the President will try to put into context the provision of this infrastructure within the context of really trying to improve education in the Eastern Cape. As we know that there are very many challenges that are still facing the Department of Education in the Eastern Cape, and the provision of facilities is really one of those challenges, including just the provision of infrastructure, just to have we still have schools that are really of a nature of mud schools, where many young people are still learning under trees. We still have kids that are attending schools in mud structures, in temporary structures. You still have schools in the Eastern Cape that really struggle with just desks and chairs, and so I do think that the President, in really handing over this infrastructure to the community here, will touch on those in terms of how government, together with the private sector, will assist really to ensure that such facilities are indeed provided to such communities. They're now moving over to another section of the school. You can see it's such a very nice, beautiful school. The media is here trying to get the story out there as the President moves around this institution to see what else is there. Yeah. And I think Vuyo is closer to where the President has just entered into one of those classes. Vuyo, if you can hear me on that side, I think this is quite the attention that it has grabbed, especially from the Chinese delegation. I noticed that they are part of this entourage that is really inspecting these classes there, Vuyo.
Yes, indeed. Thanks very much, Tommy. They are now on the side of the library. It's the plaque. They are written Safako Mapoho Makgatho Library. Earlier, they were at the computer lab. The President there trying to tease the young man, asking him to show, asking him whether he in fact knows what he was trying to do there. And the young man saying, yes, it's a computer. center for searching for information, and it's got lots and lots of uses. Of course, President trying to get the young man to show him what he meant exactly, but I guess a bit of stage fright there for the young man, couldn't simply even switch on to do really what he wanted to do. But where we are now is in front of the library, which is the Sefako Makgatho Library, and they are now busy reading the plaque. Let's see if we can take a listen. Okay, we can't. We're a bit too far.
President of the Formal Senior National Treasurer from 1930 to 1933.
Well, of course, the library is named after a former ANC president, after whom former President Nelson Mandela's son, Makgatho, was also named. So a lot of history behind the names that have been given to the three components of this school, which is the school itself, but also the library, as well as the computer lab where we were a short while ago. We're going to try and see if we can go inside. Okay, we are inside. So.
Now they are inside now of the library with the president, of course, again being shown this resource that will really serve to uplift the young people of the Eastern Cape. As you can see there, that the president is really having that conversation. I think is being assisted himself to understand what goes inside here. Very marvelous facility that really is going to be key in the development and the education of the young people of the Eastern Cape. It's a very proud moment indeed, Vuyo. Very proud moment indeed here in the Eastern Cape. I've seen since this morning that we have been here, the excitement that we have seen in the people of these villages, that at last they're going to have such a very beautiful facility, because when the two schools really were faced with closure, that presented quite a very bleak future to the young people of these villages in terms of where they would have had to go in terms of getting education. But thanks to this intervention, they are now going to be able to access education right here in these villages, and also be able to avoid traveling long distances to the other areas in search of education. For you?